Boom, let me go. Right. Can you all see this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Right. This is how to navigate the weekend. So obviously it comes down to the weekend. We all have busy lives, right? None of us here are robots. None of us here are angels. Even me, I like having a little bit of a blowout once every 2, 3 months, and I'll openly admit that. So it's just understanding, right? What do we need to do? Let's say something comes up, an event, wedding, birthday parties. Like bearing in mind, we're never not just going to be do nothing year round. Like we've all got stuff going on. So it's just understanding there's strategies, and there's also a lot of mindset tricks behind it because one bad weekend for a lot of people can literally derail their whole progress. They start off with going out on the Friday, they've been off on the Saturday, and then it's like a downward spiral. I'm sure some of you have been in that spiral before, where you start you really well Monday to Friday, you get to the weekend, you're hungover on the Sunday, you just order an English breakfast because you can't be asked, and then you're like, oh, what's the point? So there's again, I've there's so many people who do that. That's literally 90% of the gym people go there. But there's ways behind it, obviously, that we can manage the progress. The art of calorie banking. So this is, I probably have taught this on some of your check-ins. If you're completely new, I probably will teach this to you. First of all, what is calorie banking? Calorie banking is when you do Monday to Friday, for example, or basically you reserve calories of the week for the weekend. It doesn't have to be for the weekend, but the whole purpose of it is that you reserve calories. What matters is it doesn't matter if you're in a calorie deficit for the day. It matters if you're in a calorie deficit across the whole week. Let's say even, for example, I know some of you females watching this. Let's say it's your time of the month, it's your luteal phase, it's the start of your period, and you want to eat the whole house. Like you are super hungry. So then the benefit of going into, for example, maintenance on the day of your really hungry day of your period is also quite beneficial because as long as you stay in a deficit across the whole week, that's the main things. And what calorie banking does, it provides that. So let's say you've got a meal out on a Saturday. Going out for a meal on a Saturday, I want to have a burger, chips, and a pint. Burger, chips, and a pint is roughly going to be about uh, anywhere between 1,200 to 1,400, maybe 1,000, depending on what burger you get. But most places are going to be around that. So what you can always do on your meal plan is from Monday to Friday, you can take out 200 calories, which will give you 1,000 calories spare. And then what you can do on the Saturday is take out another 200 calories from your meal plan on the Saturday, and then you can reserve that for the Saturday evening. Boom, you've got 1,200 calories to play around with. Again, is this like a thing that I want you to do every week? No, because when you take out 200 calories of a meal plan, you most probably have to take out carbohydrates. You need them to train, right? You need a good, especially if you're in a cutting phase, you need those carbohydrates to train with for better performing sessions. Carbohydrates is what your muscles use, or glycogen, uh, for high quality sessions. If you have no glycogen, your session is going to be poor. It's going to be hard for you to train with good intensity. So another good one as well is strategic daily reserving. So this is probably quite beneficial. For example, let's say if you're going to a place like Nando's, for example, and they have the calories on there. Perfect, right? You can get like an 800 calorie meal. So what you can do is you can keep the meals. So let's say you've got a meal plan. Some of you have got like 4 meals a day, for example. What you can do is you can always do this as well. You can have 2 meals at your meal plan. That let's say your calorie deficit is 2,000, right? So you can have 2 meals at your meal plan that are around 500 calories. Then you've got 1,000 calories as long as you can push your last meal later on in the evening. You've then got 1,000 calories to play around with for your Nando's, and you can literally match the calories with your meal plan. That's how I did it on my cut. I went out on birthday with my dad or to Nando's. I said specifically Nando's, and what I did is I just took 2 meals at my meal plan, reserved it for the meal out. That way I can have a good meal and a Coke Zero. Happy days. I'm still eating. But what you can also do is some of you who are following a macro only meal plan. What you can do is you can keep the meals high carb, no high protein, low carb, and you can reserve some of those carbs, some of those fats later on in the evening time. It's just making sure that you don't overindulge when you go for food. Again, so I've got some smart restaurant choices here. Again, there's loads of restaurants now where if you go on the website, especially when some of you tell me you're going to this restaurant, I will sit there and check in before I do it and search the restaurant up, and I'll look at the menu because most places that have the menu on the website. So what you can always do is you can be smart about it and look at the menu before you even go there. So you know exactly what to get, and you know as well like what alternative to have and how many calories you need to reserve before you even get there. And it's that strategic planning that you can literally look at your meal plan and go, right, I want this meal, I need to take up this amount of calories, and it's going to give you some peace of mind because in that way you know you can still go out for food, you can plan your whole day around it, and you're still in a calorie deficit. So four good ones I put on here. Nando's, another good one. You're literally just paying. You're sat down. You're eating a meal. You're paying for a nicer version of chicken, rice, and broccoli. It's funny I say this because like I love Nando's, but realistically, I basically like eat similar foods to Nando's at home. It's just a more expensive, tastier version. However, it's quite nice to go out for a food. Sushi, another great one. What even if sushi is mainly just fish and lean sources of protein. So again, you can a lot of time keep the calories quite low, and some places will have the option to find out what the calories are. Again, Thai food. So we're talking a lot of vegetables, some like stir fries, for example. And again, great sources of lean protein. And with the reason why I put slim chickens on there is because they do have the options for obviously the lean chicken alternatives with the calories on there as well. So you can still go out and you still match the calories. Again, most places have the calories, but obviously if they don't, what you've got to do is you still got to reserve. You've got to kind of like go with better alternatives, and you still got to reserve calories for that evening, just so you've got some buffer. Alcohol, so another big one that people struggle with. So in terms of alcohol, right? Like there is alternatives around it. But let's say when it comes down to alcohol, right? What do we all do when we're drunk? We all do stupid shit. Excuse my language. We all make stupid decisions, especially when we're super intoxicated. We don't care about the next day, especially when it gets to 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning and you smell the kebab. So just understand as well that when you drink a lot of alcohol, what comes with that is sporadic decisions. But obviously, if you are going to choose alcohol, you want to have a couple glasses of wine, glasses of gin, for example, or you want to have a couple of pints. What you can always do is number one, reserve calories in your meal plan. You can bank calories, and then you can choose like lower calorie spirits, for example. I put gin and slimline tonic on here, which is another good one. Vodka and Coke Zero. We've got beer. We go for a bit Bud Light over Similar beers. Uh, Often compared to like regular beers. So again, we put on here a Bud Light is around 110 calories, and some regular beers can be anywhere up to 250 calories. And also as well, my best advice is this going to help with the hangover as well. Is if you can stay hydrated across the day. So like every now and then you get a pint of water in, it's going to help with the hangover the next day, but it's also going to stop you overly indulging in alcohol. So that's what I say on most of the check-ins. Get back on the horse. So what that basically means is if you go off plan on Saturday, you have some drinks, you're a bit hungover the next morning. Guess what? You got to suck it up and you'll get back on the plan. You've enjoyed your night, but guess what? Because you've had a few extra drinks that you should have, you got to pay the price the next day, and you just got to get back on the horse. This is the difference between someone who's consistent and someone who's inconsistent. Because the person who's inconsistent won't get back on the horse. They'll order like a filling English breakfast or eat a Domino's pizza because they feel sorry for themselves, and then next you know, the whole next week is written off. So the main thing is actually sometimes having food prepared for the Sunday will make your life a hell of a lot easier, because in that way, if you've got your food prepped the next day, you can just get back on that. Right, as much as it's not going to be as fancy as Domino's Pizza, you've paid the price on the Saturday to then go out for drinks. As long as you've enjoyed yourself, however, you need to get back on the plan the next day. I remember you Lewis, the day after Halloween, I promised to train with you. I still train with you. It sucks. I tell you, it
Yeah,
sucks, right?
it was
But
a good
guess
session though.
it was a good session. It was a good session, right? But guess what? Like, I went out for drinks. It was my fault, so I had to get back on the horse the next day. It's just how it is. And
Mm.
I put on here as well. It's like if you see here, so if you to gain a kilogram of body fat, you've got to eat 7,000 calories above your maintenance, right? And where a lot of people go wrong is the reason why they gain a lot of weight over a period of time is that they're in a small surplus over a consistent period of time. We're talking years, and that's what causes them to gain a lot of weight. Not like 7 calories in one go, and then that's it. So in fact, if you put on 1 to 2 kilograms to a night out, it's most probably just water retention from the increased carbohydrates or an increased amount of bodily fluids from the sodium from food. For example, takeaways. When you have a lot of salt in your diet, that can increase bodily fluids because sodium is the mineral that helps with maintaining bodily fluids. So most of the time, if you get back on the horse the next day, your weight will go back down in a matter of 2 3 days. And that's it. The key is simple. Don't beat yourself up. You've done what you've done. You've done it now. Right? You can't look back in the past. It's happened. Right? You can't. There isn't no time machine that you go into and you go back. You go back in time. It's happened. It is what it is. Get back on the horse the next day, and that's the only thing you can ever do. Mastering weekend snacking. So again, another big problem that a lot of people have. So there's a few points here that I want to cover that I feel like are going to massively help out a lot of people watching this. Environmental control. So what I mean by that is if you've got kids and you've got to have in the house, it is what it is. But what you can either do is you can put it in a certain cupboard where the kids will love to find it somewhere in the house, and it's going to be like a little challenge for them to get the snacks because they're kids. They'll go out and get it. If you've got to go somewhere that's long and you can't be asked, and you've got to go the extra mile to get the snacks, there's going to be a bit more pressure there. Again, you're putting the bad habit on the path of most resistance. So my advice, if you have to have it in the house, put it somewhere where it's just long to get. And you've got to like either get a lockout or a key, or you've got to scrummage past loads of things just to make it a little bit more difficult and have a bit more friction before you do it. That way, you might second guess before you actually grab the snack. Plan ahead. So again, you can still have snacks just as long as you reserve the calories in your daily plan for it. Do I think it's something you should do every day? No. Like some of you might even have like maybe snacks here and there in your plan put in. But obviously, what you can do is if you really want to snack on a Saturday, I want a treat, you can reserve calories from your meal plan. And let's say you're on a meal plan, what you can always do is just take out 200 calories of carbohydrates, take it out and have a snack instead. But what I promise you, what comes with that is when you have snacks, you're going to have a small, depending on what it is, it can be a small option and it's not going to fill you up for 200 calories rather than 200 calories of rice. Choose better alternatives. So stuff like swap crisps for rice cakes, chocolate for protein bar, as long as it's like a full protein bar and then low sugar. Ice cream for high protein frozen yogurt. A lot of you will have Greek yogurt in your meal plan, which by the way is to me that's the most satiating meal you can ever eat, and that's why I like having my Greek yogurt before I sleep because it's like a nice dessert after my meal. Stay busy. So another one. A lot of people they'll eat at boredom. They've got nothing to do on a Sunday or Saturday. Oh, I'm not working today. I don't know what to do. Oh, I'm just going to eat. But realistically, a good analogy that I like to use is are you hungry or are you starving or are you peckish? If I gave you a dry piece of chicken, no seasoning, right? Would you demolish it or would you go, I'm not eating that? Because I guarantee if you wouldn't eat a dry piece of chicken with no seasoning, you're not starving, it's just a little bit peckish.
I don't know. You've seen some of the food I eat,
I
Harrison.
know of you. Yes, you eat everything dry. I question it. I'm like, put some seasoning on that. Jesus, you're torturing yourself. So again, another good one as well that people forget about. So let's go in. Yes, another one that people forget about building a weekend routine. So a lot of times, Monday to Friday, people have a great routine, or they have a great routine with their work. When it comes down to not working, they throw out the window. They get up late, they're like scrolling the phone when they wake up. They're in no rush, which causes them to have a lack of preparation. Let's say you're like bulking, you're trying to cram all your meals in the evening time because you forgot to have one in the morning, and it's just going to make your life a lot harder. So let's say some of you have got a step count, right? You've got a step count. You've got to hit 10k, 12k, 8k, or you've got to do a set amount of cardio. My best advice is I say eat the frog. Eat the frog basically means let's say I gave you a dirty frog, and let's say I gave you your favorite pizza or burger, right? You've got to eat the frog either way. Right? Would you eat it before the pizza or after the pizza? And if your answer is I'd eat the frog before the pizza, you're right. Right. And you should always aim to basically eat the frog first. Get the hard task out of the way. Boom, it's done, and you can crack on for the rest of your day. If you wake up first in the morning, you walk the dog, you get like 8k, 10k steps, you get it done. Think about how easy it is to then know step count for the rest of the day. You're not chasing your tail. So sometimes having a good weekend routine. I'm not saying to wake up like at 5 o'clock in the morning like you do Monday to Friday, but wake up at a reasonable time so that way we can still get up and you still be productive. And it's also going to set you off quite nicely for the rest of the weekend. Plan activities as well. So it doesn't have to be anything involved around food. I know Martin, you like to go out and you like to like do activities, which is going to be perfect. Again, it's just keeping you active, keeping you like busy, stops you getting bored, which then will stop you going off plan. And also as well, if you prep your meals on a Friday, you want to go out on the weekend, you can still have your meals prep, you still go out and you're not going off plan. So it's perfect. Structured meals. So again, regular meal timings is a good one as well. Like especially if you're bulking, and like it's always nice to still stick to a good regulated meal timings. That way you're not cram packing all your meals at even time. Even for a lot of you cutting right now who are saying to me, Harrison, this is a lot of food. Even though you're still in a deficit, it still makes sense to have a good meal time across the day due to digestion, absorption of protein synthesis, and also so you're not absolutely hammering yourself with food in the evening time.
Just one on that, Harrison. Do you
Yeah,
reckon like every 3 hours or every like 3 to 4 hours between meals?
yeah, around that. Around that. It doesn't have to be exactly, but as long as you've got like 3 to 4 hours around your meal timings.
Yeah, because I'm on night shifts at the minute, mate. So obviously I get up at about 2 o'clock this afternoon, and then I had my pre-workout, and then come back from the gym about 3.5 hours later, and I've just had my breakfast now, like you know.
Yeah. With what you'll find because it's probably your first night shift on plan, it's going to be a bit new routine to you. So as long as you can still keep it on average 3 to 4 hours, get your breakfast in, get your pre-workout, then your breakfast, then that's all that matters, mate. But as over time, what you find is you'll find out what times throughout the day work best for you for meal timings.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah. Evening wind down. So again, having like a nighttime routine to avoid late snacking. A good point that I'm putting here is if you brush your teeth, like let's say you have a habit of like snacking at 9 p.m. If you brush your teeth at 8:30, you're going to have that minty taste in your mouth. The last thing you want to do is eat a biscuit because it's going to taste disgusting. So a good way to stop snacking as well in the evening time is brush your teeth because not only does it stop you snacking, but puts you in more of a nighttime mood. Okay, right, bedtime's now, but I've just brushed my teeth. Don't know what's happened there. There we go. What happened there? I thought it froze them. So, mindset on the weekend. Again, this is probably the most common issue that I see on the weekend. People want to throw the whole progress in the bin over one day. So, this is how I'd get around it. Number one, silence any negative self-talk you have. When you go off plan, you need to resist the urge to criticize yourself. Like I get it, if you want to hold yourself to high standard, that's fine. But calling yourself a loser, I can never do this, I can never do that, and creating a negative correlation and labeling yourself in a negative way is just going to create a low self-esteem around you. If you build a low self-esteem, you're going to have no belief to carry on and actually follow the plan because you've told yourself these false beliefs in your own mind. You're telling yourself these lies in your own head on why you can't do something. So we need to silence negative self-talk. I'm all about being self-critical, but the difference between being self-critical and being self-negative. Self-negative is lowering your self-esteem. Self-critical is being honest. Focus on past success. So again, what you can always do as well is look at the times you was consistent. I might even bring this up some of your check-ins. Well, if you've gone off plan once and you've been on plan for 8 weeks and you've got results, look at the times where you was getting results. So don't look at what you did in the last week. Look at what you're doing for the whole 10 weeks. And then when you can look at the start times where you was positive, then you go, oh, okay, yeah, I actually have made some good results. Oh, well, let's get back on plan then. And it takes your thinking away from the negative more into the positive. Learn without judgment. So again, it's just asking yourself if you can look at what you've done from a advisor point of view. It's like, oh, instead of going, oh, I was overwhelmed, so I ate off plan. Going, okay, this situation made me overwhelmed, so I went off plan. Okay, what about the situation made me go off plan? Okay, the situation at work was stressful because the customer had a go at me. Okay, why did the customer have a go at me? The customer had a go at me because I got his order wrong. Okay, what can I do next time to make sure that I know everyone's order? Boom, happy days. You might even bring a notepad to work, and you might even make sure double check the work that everyone's in order. Example, right? And it's just if you look at it from a bird's eye point of view, you're going to look at it from like a logical standpoint rather than an emotional standpoint, and you're more likely to create a better decision moving forward on what to do next time. And again, from here as well, remove the emotion. So you always want to look at it from a logical point of view rather than an emotional point of view, because if you look at it from an emotional point of view, it's going to lead you into more of a downward spiral and make sporadic decisions. You want to make a decision that's best for you, which will always be out of logic rather than emotion. Does anyone have any questions? No? We're happy? Everyone's happy, yeah? Everyone's got loads of value from it?
Most definitely. I think we've had a couple of conversations about this in the last few weeks from my reviews. So it's really good to see it all in action, really.
That was one of the things we spoke about on our consultation call was your mindset, and that's the one thing that you knew for a fact was going to hold you back the most. But we're getting around it. Like, I mean, the check-in that you had recently was perfect. Like, you're talking to yourself in a more positive way, and you're understanding that not every week's going to be 100%, but it's just focus on what you can control instead of what you can't control.
And celebrating those successes, like
Exactly.
noticing that shift in mindset, noticing that actually you've still had all these successes. So next week will be even more positive.
Exactly. And like, even if it isn't 100%, you've still lost weight, your running's getting better. Like, yeah, you might have missed some steps or whatever. But if you look at the grand scheme of things, you're making results, which is the main thing.
Yeah, exactly. And less negative, which is always a good thing.
Yeah, that's it. Your mind is such a powerful tool. It is one of the most powerful but most destructive tools. And if you know how to use it right, it can be an absolute weapon. That's why when people ask me that someone said to me the other day, it's like, Harrison, you're so positive. It's like, how? I'm just like, when someone asks me, how's your day been? I always say, always good. Even if it's the worst day, I always reply back with, it's always good, because I'm slowly just rewiring my brain to just even start the conversation in a positive way. And then next, like I'm having a positive conversation with everyone. So that's it. Right. I think if that's everyone's questions answered, everyone's all happy. Let's actually smash out this week. Any questions, let me know. You've got me on WhatsApp. And yeah.
I was just going to say, Harrison, sorry, mate. Like you said about the food thing, mate. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah. Go on.
But you said about the mate. I genuinely, mate, like since I've been on this diet, normally I'd do my diet and then like by day 3, mate, I'd be tucking into the biscuits, mate. But honestly, mate, but with this diet that you've given me now, mate, honestly, I just genuinely don't feel like eating anything else. You know what I mean? Like I've just had that Weetabix thing with the yogurt and that, mate, and I'm stuffed and I can't even think about it. And I just look forward to my next meal. Do you know what I mean? And that's like so. Yeah, just a massive thank you for that, mate.
No, it's all good. A lot of people they actually undereat over the week, undereat on the weekdays, and they overeat on the weekends. But a lot of people don't have the understanding of like certain foods that fill you up more. So, for example, like sweet potato will always fill you up more than bread, for example. So, when I structure your meal plans, I structure it based off enjoyment, but also satiety as well, because I'd rather you not have the feeling of wanting to go off plan and actually enjoy the food you have, because that's the trick of staying on a diet plan, to actually enjoy your food and be full.
Yeah. And how? So just one quick. So, how long does the cutting phase last for, mate? For me personally.
So for you, we would have to do it in diet breaks. So we do like a period of time where, because obviously being on a diet for a long period of time is very mentally draining. This is how I would do it. For the guys who've got to spend a bit more longer, I would do it in like a 12 to 16 week block. Then we would spend like maybe 3 to 4 weeks in the maintenance, bring food up, pull cardio down, allow the off-plan meal per week, and then we go back into deficit until you are happy. Right, your goal is my goal at the end of the day. If you come to me and you say, Harrison, I want some more abs, we will dig deep until we get abs. But what will come with that is maybe the occasional diet break here and there, just so we can allow the mental and physical fatigue to stay on a deficit for a good period of time.
But mate, it doesn't feel like a diet, honestly. It doesn't feel.
Yeah, that's the point. That's the trick, mate.
yeah. It's all good, mate. It's all good. Thank you.
Yeah, no worries, man. No worries. Cool. Right, you seem happy. Any questions? Let me know. You got me on WhatsApp. Let's go out there and absolutely smash this.
Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. Bye.
No worries.
Have a great week, everyone.
Good luck,
Bye.